Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at what would happen if you didn't speak for a whole year. On average, every day women speak 20,000 words and men speak 7,000 words. This means that we love to hear ourselves speak and can't seem to shut up. But what if you didn't speak one word for an entire year? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what would happen, and even tell you what happened to someone who really didn't speak for 17 years. But before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too? So what's the longest you've gone without speaking? It's likely no more than a day, perhaps even a week for some people, but imagine not speaking for an entire year. There are various reasons why people wouldn't speak for a year. For example, some people may be silently protesting, or perhaps they have a medical condition which doesn't allow them to speak. Such conditions include things like dysarthria, and also dysphonia and aphonia can stop people from speaking for around a year. But if you stopped speaking for a year, then what exactly would happen to your voice? Well, first of all, it would change a whole lot. You see, speech relies on a complex coordination of several autonomic features. You may think of your mouth as one body part, but inside your mouth are many parts. And there's other things you don't consider, like your nose, teeth, tongue, and lips. These are all things which change how you speak. Famous singer Barbra Streisand even said that one time she stopped speaking for a short period of time to change her singing voice. And she said if anything happened to her lips, nose, teeth, or tongue, it would ruin her career. So after beginning to speak again after the 1 year of not speaking, your voice would be very different. You may even sound similar to someone who's deaf. Deaf people often sound different when they speak, and that is because they can't hear their own voice. Because you would have gone so long without adjusting your voice using your mouth, you would sound different. Not only that, you likely couldn't speak for very long. When you decide to speak, your brain signals your voice box. The air from your lungs then goes through your diaphragm, and that is how you speak. But if you haven't done this for a while, then this may be tricky. You'd likely only be able to say things sentence by sentence. This is because you'd quickly get out of breath, as your lungs would be overwhelmed. You may also get a bad headache or migraine, as your brain wouldn't be used to you speaking so much. Your vocal cords may also be very sensitive, so you'd likely speak pretty loudly. And also, your vocal cords may be in pain. Vocal cords are like a muscle, and if you haven't used a muscle for a year, then if you do start suddenly using it, it's gonna hurt. You know the feeling when you go to the gym after not being for a while and your muscles start to ache? Well, that is exactly what would happen to your voice box. Ouch. Another thing that would happen if you didn't speak for a year is you would sound a lot dumber. This is because of neurological changes in your brain. According to a New York University study, those who don't speak for long periods of time have trouble connecting words up. This means you may experience something similar to dyslexia, except for speaking instead of reading. You may mix up the words you're saying in a sentence. And you may also forget connective words, such as and also. You'd also talk in a strange, slow way. For example, instead of saying how are you, you would say how are you. The reason for these large pauses would be your brain having to work through what you're about to say. So this stuff is all in theory. But believe it or not, one man named John Francis really didn't speak for 17 years. On his 27th birthday in 1973, he began to not speak. He did this as he said he was arguing all the time. For the first week of him not speaking, he thought it was fun, and he realized he was actually listening instead of arguing. But after a few weeks, his family began getting worried. And they even feared he'd being taken over by a Californian cult. After a while, he simply found peace without speaking. And on the 10th year anniversary of not speaking, he spoke for a day. But then for 7 more years, he went back to not speaking. He said it was very strange to break his lack of speech for that one day. And he said he actually found it pretty hard to say any words. Now, it's important to point out a myth. Many people think that if you didn't speak for a year, your mouth would close up and you wouldn't even be able to open it. But that is not the case. While your mouth may ache and feel discomfort, you won't be able to not open it. That is a schoolyard myth. The reason why your mouth would still be able to open and function normally is because you use your mouth for other things. You'd need to eat, brush your teeth, and breathe air using your mouth. Because of you doing this, your mouth muscle wouldn't close up. But if you didn't use your mouth for these things, your jaw may lock and your mouth may be closed up. But of course, no one can live without breathing and eating, so this isn't a choice. So there you have it. That is what would happen if you didn't speak for a year, or even 17 years in John Francis's case. Let me know if you guys would ever not speak for a year. I wouldn't be able to do my job without speaking, so I'll pass. But vote in the poll in the top right corner if you would ever try not speaking for an entire year. Even if I had the option to, I would still never want to not speak for an entire year. But what about you? If you want more amazing videos, check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment, so be sure to click it. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now, leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what you're waiting for, subscribe to Top 10s for new videos every single day.